What's up, everybody? It's your boy Stevie83 back with another react. You know what I'm saying? It's not a reaction, it's more of a compilation. I put a bunch of traveling clips together, and we're going to get over to the traveling fails because I just went to Miami, and we didn't have no fails, thank heavens, but we did have a whole lot of aggravation. Try being in the car with 18 and a half hours with 5 children, a mother-in-law, and your wife. Woo! Let's get right into it. I'm crazy!
I hope right here. We have to go.
She didn't have a wristband.
I want a reimbursement. Okay, I checked in. I don't want reimbursement. I can do it right now.
She refused to get up.
If you want me to get a van, then give me a van. What else do I want to get a van?
You about to get some air for real?
Female officer.
I ain't married.
You need water? Oh, man. You need some water? It's cool.
I accept that I'm big, okay? I get it.
I got him.
It's been one of the worst days of my entire life. I'm actually having to hold back tears. We're on a 1-year budget backpacking trip around the world, and we've just finished 6 months in Asia and are heading over to a brand new continent, South America, for the second half of our trip. So yesterday we set off on a mammoth travel day all the way from Delhi in India to Bogota in Colombia, which was meant to take around 40 hours in total. We had a 13-hour overnight layover in Paris, and because our backpacking budget couldn't stretch far enough for a hotel, they were about £150 per night. So we knew we were going to be sleeping on the airport floor, which is always going to be grim. And it was. We had a horrendous night, we didn't get any sleep, but that part was to be expected. Where it started to get even worse is when we landed in Bogota, having done a 9-hour flight, a 13-hour layover, and another 10-hour flight. Oh, and the in-flight entertainment didn't work on the first 9-hour flight either, so we were just twiddling our thumbs the entire time. But upon landing in Colombia, it turns out that Grant's bag was still in Paris. Our entire lives are in our backpack. It's the only thing that we have with us for an entire year. And Grant's backpack also has all of my medication and all of my contact lenses in it as well. So it's an absolute disaster that this has gone missing. We're also not even staying in Bogota. We had an onward flight just a couple of hours after we landed, which means that it's not even like we can stay here and wait for it to turn up. We spoke to the airline, we've put in a claim, and they have said that when it arrives, they'll then send it on to whatever hostel we're staying in. But we're moving around loads, we're fast-paced travellers, so God knows where we'll be and when it will be that it arrives. I've obviously tried to stress the urgency, but who knows with these things when it will turn up. I am such a type A personality. This is like the worst possible thing that could happen to me. And then, to top it off, we found out that our next flight was cancelled. So the 40-hour journey that was already horrible is turning into a 50-hour journey. And the airline refused to give us any compensation for either the lost bag or for the cancelled flight. Grant went full Karen on them and did manage to squeeze $15 per person in food and drink vouchers out of them. But to be honest, I don't think that makes up for how horrendous the last 2 days have been. We're currently sat at the gate waiting to board our last flight. Fingers crossed that nothing else goes wrong. Surely it can't. Oh, and also, the food and drink vouchers that they gave us could only be used in specific places, and those places were in a completely other terminal to where our flight was leaving from. So we then had an absolute nightmare trying to communicate in another language to ask people how we got from one terminal to the other so that we could use these vouchers. It took us 1 hour and 10 minutes to be able to actually get to where we could use them. Honestly, such a joke. It's honestly just been so awful. I feel like an absolute zombie right now. I can't wait to get to our final destination and sleep. It's 6 p.m. here in Colombia time, but in our body clocks it's 4 a.m. the next morning, and that's the second night that we haven't had any sleep. So we are just absolutely shattered right now, shells of ourselves, not even able to communicate properly with each other. But yeah, I guess this is just one of those traveling stories that I'm sure we'll look back on in years to come and laugh about.
With that, you got to try to get yourself a board game. Take a board game, pack it in your backpack for them long days and nights at the airport, try getting a board game. It helps out a lot.
But right now, I'm in the pits with it, and I feel so.
This one dude not paying attention was holding this entire line back by 30 feet. Nobody said anything and just wrapped the line around the corner.
And the guidebook says it's 218 miles long, it's 18 miles across at its widest point, and it's over a mile deep.
Wow, a mile deep. How could they measure it? Easy. Just grab a tape measure and jump.
I don't have any others, but you're the only one. Okay.
But if she can't get on the plane, could I be refunded as well because we're traveling together?
What do you mean? What do you?
So she's here alone.
What do you?
In Athens. Okay.
No. No. Oh my God. So.
Man, that looks like a nice piece of porcelain right there. And I got your idea, lady. I would want to sit on that too. And man, how about, do you feel sorry for the lady that couldn't get the makeup in the bag? Man, I was feeling her pain. I don't wear makeup or anything, but I've had that situation happen.
No.
When Americans travel to China. Oh no, someone should have told us we needed to be flexible for this trip. When Americans...
Why you not on time?
Everyone wait on board, you see? How much money?
500!
Thank you.
I might not be calm, I might not be pleasant, I might not be good, but I will be on time.
Let me tell you how me and my husband's 5th anniversary trip was ruined. And I mean, how many L's can two people take on one trip? Okay. Now here I'm looking all happy and smiling and woo, life is great, but things are about to take a turn. We stayed a night in New York and that was great. We actually ended up getting upgraded to the penthouse suite. It's like, okay, our anniversary is tomorrow, so we starting off great. But what we didn't know was that L number 1 was coming up quick, okay? We had planned the Uber from the hotel to JFK, but it was $95. So we said, absolutely not. We decided to get right on that subway because it was like $12 each for the whole way. But then the subway had a freaking delay. They had us sitting still with the lights flashing and it was blazing hot. I had sweat all over my back. You know what? We made it to the airport, so I said it's cool. Things gonna start looking up. So I went and got some essentials, some good wipes, some gummy worms. Why was my total $28? Okay? That could be L number 2, but I'm a whole number 2 for later on in the story. Okay? JetBlue Mint, that was a great experience. I got other videos about that. We landed. Keep in mind, when we landed, it was our actual anniversary. So we like, yes, today's gonna be a great day. Until I start to feel a little sickly, look congested. I'm like, oh no, Lord, please. So we take the tube from the airport to the hotel, and I'm realizing the longer the ride is, the worse I'm starting to feel. So I said, you know what? Let me drink a little orange juice. Little orange juice will bring me back, give me a little vitamin C. That's all I need. Cause my thinking is, as soon as we get to the hotel, I'm gonna take a hot shower. I'm gonna give me some rest. We got dinner plans, massages. We about to have a great anniversary, okay? But then lost number 2 said, here I am. After we check in, I run upstairs only to find that it ain't no hot water. We in London in winter, and they ain't got no hot water. I mean, I can't even make this stuff up.
I have to boil some water in a tea kettle so I can at least freaking wash up.
And I don't know about y'all, but once I have traveled from multiple time zones across the world, I need a shower before I go and do anything. So we had to cancel our massages and dinner plan, which leaves us in the L number 3 and 4. Since we wasn't about to go to no massage with dirty bodies, we lost our deposit, which was 110 pounds. And then I suddenly got real sick. Okay? So we had to go get some medicine. My husband trying to administer the medicine we found at the grocery store, trying to help me feel better so we can at least do something tomorrow. And no, the hot water ain't back on yet. It's midnight and it's still out. At that point, I just wanted to cry because I wasn't feeling good. My voice is already kind of deep, so I was sounding like Ruben Studdard. And we missed all our plans that day. I was like, this is the worst day ever. Being so dramatic, I know my husband was over me. But then luckily the next day we woke up, the hot water was on, so we got dressed, we got ready for the day, and I was feeling so much better. I don't know what kind of medicine they got in London, but it knocked that cold out for the time being, and I was feeling good. We went out, and we ended up having a great time. And best believe I sent the hotel an email, let them know how I felt. And of course they rent us some of our money back, which of course we appreciate. But yeah, that's what happened.
Lawyer's reaction.
Is there any recourse if you came onto the flight and this was your assigned seat?
When you buy an airline ticket, you're entitled to be reasonably comfortable, and when someone interferes with this right, you should speak to an airline attendant and get reseated. If this is not possible, then right then and there, you should request a refund or a voucher. Now, American Airlines, JetBlue, and Alaska Airlines have been known to accommodate this seat squeeze issue.
Sit down.
Do not restrain me.
Sit down. Sit down.
Why are you so angry?
Because you're being irate. You are back there. You've already caused confusion. The captain has already been notified. We were already going to have somebody here sit here and meet you.
I went to the bathroom.
Honey, there's been more than several interactions with all of the staff on board the aircraft. Law enforcement has already been notified. So the best interest for you is to sit down.
Please, thank you. Because what the fuck is this? What did I do? No.
You don't want to yell at me again?
Do I not? Sit down.
This is what it's like to cross the Belize to Guatemala border. I guess we walk across the border. Never done this before. Let's see how this goes. All right. Is 20. You guys saw how short that line was. It still took like 40 minutes, so I can't really imagine when it's backed up. It probably takes literally 6 hours, but super smooth process. Now I'm here. I need to find my shuttle. I'm back in Guatemala, one of my favorite countries ever. This is actually my top 3 favorite countries in the world. I'm back after 2 years. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I have no idea where my shuttle is. I was the last in line, so what if they left without me? Oh my god, I don't even remember the guy's name. No, I just came through, but I don't know where to get the shuttle. There's supposed to be a shuttle here waiting for me. There was a bunch of people that just came that are on the same shuttle. Yeah. So I go this way?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you. Now they have to stamp my passport. Oh my god. Yay! Bro, I've been waiting on the other side. I'm still at the fucking border 2 hours later. My flight is in 2 hours. I was supposed to get there 2 hours ago. This is absolutely insane. They're still waiting for 2 passengers to come on board, so they just make us all wait for like hours. Don't ever do what I do and book a flight or anything the day during a travel day over a border, because these shuttles do not care. They don't care. This is what
Put a finger down if you went to an island in Thailand on vacation, went to a jungle rave, danced in the forest all night, got bit by a bunch of mosquitoes, ended up getting deathly ill, could barely eat a bite of food for like 5 days, got covered in red splotches all over your body, fainted because you barely ate anything, could barely even drink water without throwing up, ended up having to take a boat taxi and a ferry back to the mainland, finally dragged your ass to a hospital just to find out you got dengue fever.
I'm not gonna lie and say I know what that is, but it sounds rough. And as far as the other lady that had to wait, you gotta be like prompt. You can't be late for.
Apologise for the delay to your flight today. I've just spoken to the captain on the flight deck. Unfortunately, the captain and the first officer have gone out of hours, which means they cannot operate this flight. This aircraft will not operate today. The aircraft will have night stop, and they're looking to depart you tomorrow morning.
Any of these following flights I'm about to say, your flight unfortunately is cancelled, which means your holiday is also cancelled. Tenerife, Heraklion, Vargas, Rhodes, Skiathos and Las Palmas, your flight is cancelled. So please make your own way home and get a refund. You have got the option to refund with a 10% incentive in the If you are blank only, it will be a refund. No other option to refund.
I am the only person on the plane, and they have an entire flight crew. They do not want to do this flight. And loaded all the bags on the plane. How many bags do you have to load today, bro?
Passenger Charlie your account will be leaving in 10 minutes.
They pulled them from the hotel to come do this flight for just one person.
Small personal handheld devices like tablets, cell phones, and smartwatches. All need to be placed in the airplane mode at this time, sir.
Sorry. I'm focusing. Yes. Wait, how do I take my seatbelt off?
Great, sweetie.
Join me for the most traumatic travel experience of my life as I went from London to Chicago for my friend's wedding. So I set off super early in the morning, about 5:30 a.m. because I live in Leeds and it's a 4-hour drive to Heathrow. So
we realised we'd missed our stop, so we got off the train to switch to the other platform. But we noticed this man that was walking conveniently behind us. He switched platform and got on the train going backwards with us, and that's when we knew he was definitely following us. When we get off the train, he gets off. When we get on, we got on and off the train multiple times just to make sure, and he followed us each time. My friend is calling an Uber and we just want to get out of there as soon as possible. On top of that, he's carrying this big black bag, and I'm just thinking, what on earth is in there that makes him so confident that he can take down 2 girls? But where it gets really scary is when our Uber finally came. So we started walking out the train station, and of course he's following us. But we get outside and the Uber's nowhere to be seen. So we're just standing in the middle of this little bus station in the middle of the road, and he's literally standing right behind us. I genuinely think that he was waiting and hoping that we were going to try to go home and that we may have been intoxicated or something, and that he could take advantage of us. We're literally walking up and down this road and the man is still following us. The Uber finally came to the right spot, and oh my gosh, I have never been so excited and relieved to see and enter a place.
Now, how do you know he was following you and not going on the same flight or bus as you? And the man that had that flight all alone, he must be the luckiest guy in the world, because that don't happen much.
Since I did not feel comfortable while traveling, part 1. Milan, Italy has amazing architecture and great shopping, but I have to say, I did not feel comfortable while traveling here. The people are not very friendly, the food is not great. We were stranded because our Airbnb host just ghosted us, and when we asked for help, no one let us use their phones or their Wi-Fi. And I honestly felt like I was always about to be scammed out of something.
It's 2025. Why are you using someone else's phone again?
Whether it be the meal, price, or shopping, I just really didn't feel comfortable or welcomed here. And I really don't think I would return to Milan. Places I did not...
¿Listo? Estamos en Costa Rica. ¿Cuál es la primera comida que vas a comer aquí?
La primera y la última.
Okay, so I used to work as a check-in agent, and because of that, these are the things that I would always do, or kind of advice that I would give just from having that job. So what happens when you miss a flight? So say, for example, you get to the check-in desk and for whatever reason, maybe there's been a car crash on the motorway and it's taken longer for you to get to the airport, or for whatever reason, you've missed your flight. Now, what usually happens? Now, obviously, when we close the flight, that's it. We're not allowed to open the flight back up. There's only ever been one situation where that I can remember that a flight had been opened back up, and that is because there was a 4 or 5 hour delay for that particular flight. So my manager overrid, and the woman was like 1 minute late to the check-in desk, and he said, I'll open it back up and let her go through. However, that's only ever happened once in 5 years that I was working there, so it's not really as common as you think. Now, when you're late, we can't open the flight usually, even if it's 1 minute late, because on the other side, they've started boarding. If that is you, and you would just miss the check-in, what I would usually recommend is going to the airport hold for luggage. It's like a locker system, and you can put your suitcase in there, especially if you checked in online, take your hand luggage and go through the other side. You've got 45 minutes, so chances are you'll still make your flight. If you can't do that and you're too late to be able to do that, what I would say to you is go to the customer service desk. You'll have to pay a rescue fee. This can be anything from £250 up, and they'll put you on the next available flight. Now, obviously, if you're flying at a busy time period, you've got to think about if there is any availability to get on the next available flight, because that might not be for days and you might need to get to your destination really quickly. But usually that's what happens. Now, if obviously you're on the other side and you've missed your flight at the boarding gate, they send you to a waiting area, and then that someone will bring you back through the other side. And again, you'll pay the rescue fee, which is anything from £250 per passenger, and then you'll get booked on the next flight, and that's usually what happens.
This is why you should be careful when going to Greece.
So this is one of the scariest things I've ever had happen to me while traveling. I was in Thessaloniki, Greece. This is the second day of a 2-week-long trip, and I was very excited to be there. So me and my buddy go out to a bar. We had a nice time. I went to the bathroom. As soon as I opened up the stall, a bunch of guys grabbed me and they took me off somewhere else. They're all screaming at me, "You need to pay us money." Why? You ripped the urinal off the wall. That doesn't even make sense. I didn't do it. I'm not paying. So I pick up the phone. I call my buddy Kyle. I'm like, "Get down here. Something's going down." As soon as I do this, they sucker punch me. My phone goes flying. I'm laying on the ground, and 6 guys got over top of me. They held me by the throat and they just started beating me. They hit me so hard my vision went blurry. I definitely had a concussion. It was an awful experience. One guy's choking me, the other ones are punching me in the face. There's a whole crowd of people watching this happen and nobody steps in. Finally, some nice guy comes over and grabs one of the dudes by the arms and says, "Enough." As soon as he did this, I took off running as fast as I could. I ran down the street, found a little newsstand. I pushed everybody out of the way and I said, "You have to help me." There was a group of college kids that were traveling. They came over and they're talking to me, calming me down. So I was starting to be a little more relaxed. All of a sudden, 2 guys show up and they said, "We can help you. We're with the police." So I trusted them. I said, "Okay." They took me away from this whole crowd, and once we were by ourselves, grabbed me, they threw me in the back of a car, and that's when I realized that these are the same guys that have been beating me. And at this point, I'm kidnapped, and I don't know where we're going. We're in the car for like 10, 15 minutes. So I'm thinking, how can I stop this car? I was gonna untie my shoelaces and use that. Unfortunately, I had different shoes on that day, no shoelaces. Bad choice. I checked the lock on the door, it pulls up. The second we hit a red light, I jumped out and ran for as long as I possibly could. I hid in some bushes for a while. I zigzagged down streets. I had no clue where I was at. I had no phone. Didn't even know the name of the hotel that I was staying at. I walked around for 3 hours in the middle of the night in Thessaloniki, Greece. Finally, I see my buddy Kyle. He's been out on the street trying to find me. He thought I was just lost, had no clue any of this had even happened. I stopped in every single hotel and store that was open, asking for help. I stopped people on the streets, asked them for help. Nobody would help me find where I'm going or call anybody for me. I was just screwed. The next day I wake up, they had my phone unlocked and they were using Apple Pay over and over again trying to pay themselves, but luckily it was blocked every time. And then they texted Kyle from my phone and they said, "Come on back down here, let's meet, and give us some money, we'll give you the phone back, everything will be fine." So of course I went and erased the phone, so it's useless to them. I got out of Greece, I was in Serbia within a few hours. So it's been like 3 weeks since all this has happened. My throat still hurts from when they grabbed me. My wrists are really messed up. I can barely pick things up still. Don't know what's going on with that. My face is healed up. The scratch is gone. The black eye is almost gone. So we're doing all right. So I'm lucky to be alive and happy to be back home. Make sure you're following for more, and you let me know what I should do next.
Alright, so here you have egg and peas.
Okay.
So the smoke is made from apple chip, and then the egg yolk has been cooked slowly with warm olive oil. It's not really raw, but yeah. And then on top you have
I want to see you face it. Scream! to laugh.
Please do not leave your baggage unattended.
That's going to do it for me today, guys. I got another one to upload. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and we'll get back to you tomorrow. Peace!